All right, guys, check it out. This is round 2 of the Aventon Ramblas versus the Velotric Summit 1. This is my buddy Steve Janiak. You might have seen us with a different video that we did with the play date. That's where he rode the Aventon Ramblas and he tried my full suspension Giant. It was his first time on an e-bike. You had a pretty good time, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned, you keep talking about the Ramblas too.
Yeah,
so
it's a solid bike.
Yeah, so luckily, Steve agreed to go ahead and take these out on the trails today. We are in Carpentersville, Illinois, at a place called Andres Mountain Bike Park. Neither one have been on this trail, so we don't know it. So we're going to test these bikes out. Now, I am nursing a knee injury, so when it comes to like the jumps and the drops and stuff like that, I'll probably have Steve do both of them. I don't know if this knee's going to survive that yet, so if you see him doing both, that's just what's going to happen. The main purpose of this video is going to see whether the Velotric Summit 1 can do the same things that the Aventon Ramblas can do. This bike is $26.99. This bike is $18.99, or it could be more. I don't know, the new tariffs or whatever. But either way, this bike is about $1,000 more than this bike. So yeah, so let's see if the Velotric Summit 1 can at least keep up.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh.
All right, guys, this is the first time of me ever doing a drop.
Here we go. Big drops.
So not only are we testing the bike's capabilities, but I'm testing mine. A little bit hard, but totally doable. Woo. I hit my butt on my tire. Beautiful dismount.
Thanks. Let's do this.
That's outside my skill set. I'm not doing that. We just finished this ride. We've been out for a couple of hours now, and Strava shows that we went 5.33 miles. My Apple Watch shows that we climbed 552 feet in elevation. When it came to battery power, the Summit one had 84% power left. The Ramblas here, I had 78%, but I have to tell you that I kept this thing in boost just because I was trying to, trying to protect this leg right here. So I know he had it in a lower boost level the entire time. I had it in a higher boost level during the entire ride. So Steve, you've ridden them both. You've ridden for years. What did you think between the two?
They were pretty close. We talked about this one, the Velotric really feels heavier, and
Well, this one's 58,
and
and that one's, they say that one's 62.
it feels heavier. I'll just say that. Not a lot heavier, but it feels heavier. This one feels a little more planted, and maybe it's the slightly bigger tires, flying through corners. The dirt here was kind of loose and rocky, definitely dry. So these tires, they were decent, and they felt pretty planted throughout, a little more so than this guy. I'm not sure why, maybe just because they were skinnier, but they were both really fun.
If you could choose between the two, right, which one would it be?
If prices were equal, I'd go with the Aventon.
Okay, but since they're not,
because I know that like there's a little better component to build on that. But if I didn't have that extra $1,000, and this would be a pretty good bike.
now I did take a look, and because of like all the tariffs and stuff like that, the prices on the Velotric, that one right now sells for $19.99, right, is what I looked at. And then starting the 10th of June, this one's going to be like $28.99, because like so the bikes have gone up like $200, right? So you're going to either need $2,000 for this one, or you're going to need $3,000 for this one. Do you think that the $1,000 difference is worth the upgrade to, like if you're like, oh, I got $2,000, but I could push the $3,000. Like, do you think this bike is worth $1,000 more?
Based on the components, I'd say you would probably have to replace some of the components sooner. The fork, probably for sure. The derailleur, that's a fairly low level derailleur compared to the, is that a GX or NX? What's
Yeah, it's the NX Ram NX.
So that's a little better. That's going to last longer. I feel like I would put that much more money into this one eventually than just buying that one outright.
Right. So
A
basically,
fork is $500 if you're lucky,
yeah.
right? And then another 300 for a component set, so you're almost even. So honestly, I'd probably go with the Aventon.
Everything we did with this one, he did with that one. And that was really what this video was, to figure out, like, will this one do what this one does? Now, we didn't really push them that hard. I mean, we did the 3-foot drops and the 5-foot drops, and we were doing those, he was doing those gap jumps and all kinds of stuff. So that's out of my skill set for sure, especially with a bad leg. Even if not, it would still be out of my skill set if I had a good leg. But it survived, it did it. And for those that saw my other video where I blew the forks out in that, I think I just had a bad fork set, right? Because you did more with this than what I did in the video where I blew the forks out, and it did just fine.
Yeah, you must have just had a fluke.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens. So there you go, guys. And look, if you are interested in either one of these, I'm going to put links in the description down below, right? And that'll take you directly to it. I have a $60 discount code for this one. Now, if you've seen, I already upgraded my other Ramblas, my green and black one, my Borealis, and I spent $1,700 in the upgrades on that. With this bike, I'm going to go ahead and replace the forks. I already have a new set of forks for that. We're going to try to see if we can go tubeless with this one as well. We were able to go tubeless with my other Ramblas. And then I have more aggressive tires for this one. I've already we've already switched out the grips and the pedals, but I mean, that's about all I'm going to do to that one, because the only issue I really had was with the forks, but I don't really think it's an issue now, but I already bought them. So, and then I'm going to compare the upgraded Ramblas. We're going to compare the upgraded Ramblas and the upgraded this, right? To see how it handles. Both of them with tubeless setups and all that stuff. Hopefully I can do it with that one as well. And they'll both have the same, now they'll both have the same size tires. They'll both have 2.5-inch tires, right? So that'll also be like a fair comparison. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Yeah, we're going to be doing more to this series, but for now, we figured it out. And these things will both have a good day on the trail, right?
For sure, yeah. This one's got a lockout fork, which is kind of nice for if you're taking it out on the street. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I never lock mine out on the street.
No,
Like even when I'm reviewing, yeah, I don't do it. I'd rather have to Chicago.
True.
I mean, I'm basically riding on a dirt trail in on Chicago streets.
That's true.
All right, guys. So I want to thank you for watching, and until I see you again, enjoy the ride.
Hey, so after driving home and thinking about those bikes the whole way and just how different they were, I forgot to mention that the Summit is a rear wheel drive motor, and the Ramblas, the Aventon Ramblas, is a mid drive. So they're a little different in that way. So what that means is that the Ramblas would have more options for replacing the rear wheel if you had to do that. It's a pretty standard boost rear wheel, 12 speeds, standard hub, whereas the Summit has, I believe it's an 8-speed. It's a proprietary wheel, and you might have a little bit of an issue getting that repaired or replaced later on. So, for example, on the Ramblas, you could throw some carbon wheels on there and have it be a little lighter, a little better, or whatever. But the Summit might be a problem. And you would probably just have to get that repaired somewhere instead of just buying new parts. That was the big thing that I thought of on the way home. The last thing was, in comparing the two models, I had forgotten that Scott had taken off the throttle on the Summit, which would make that a really fun bike for riding around the city and being a commuter / light trail bike. But I know he's talked about that before in the other video, so I won't go into that. But if I was on a budget and I rode light trails and mostly city stuff, like the Summit seems like a great bike. But if I'm going to abuse the bike a little more and get rowdier, and if I have to upgrade later on and not worry about breaking things, I think the Ramblas is a better buy, even though it's $1,000 more.